Galaxy 107 FM Facebook Live again. We are going to be joined today coming out of Louisiana, and believe me, I'm really excited about this.
Kentucky.
Louisburg. Louisburg. Let's get it. Right, I didn't have my glasses on, that's what the problem is.
And here's
It is,
Tyler.
of course, Tyler Woods, and believe me, you know about Tyler Woods, folks, because we've been playing it, and you've been loving it. Anyway, let's go live.
We have visitors. Hi, Mark.
Hello. All right.
Tyler playing on Galaxy.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 5 after 11 o'clock, and I've just lost them. And 17 degrees downtown. There we go. I'd like to be able to see that pretty face, my friend, I really do. It is Wednesday, June the 26th, and of course we're being joined out of Louisburg, Kentucky. Tyler Woods, absolutely famous guy, this guy, he really, really is. And we just played his song, of course, Home. Welcome along, Tyler. It is an absolute pleasure to have you with us this morning.
Hey, it's good to be here. Good to see everybody there in New Zealand.
Well, you know, we've got to let you know, my friend, that we are huge fans here at Galaxy 107 FM, and we are working up to your number one song, but we'll cover this in the meantime. Now, Tyler, I'm getting a bit of feedback here. Tyler, we just played Home. Now, tell us all about that. How did you come to the lyrics?
That song is really special to me because I've been on a pretty incredible journey in my life with the music and the TV show, Moonshiners on the Discovery Channel, and everything that I've been blessed with. And it kind of made me come to the realization that it's not all just something that happened. You know, God, He had a plan for me, and He kind of began to speak to me, and I felt like, you know what, I feel like somebody's talking to me, and I really don't know what it is, you know, and it got to the point where I had this voice that was telling me, I'm going to make you a leader, and I'm going to give you an opportunity to do things in this world, and I kind of ran from it for a while, and finally I said, you know what, I can't ignore this anymore, you know, I know that there's something big for me out there, that you know, God's got a plan for me. So when I finally made the decision to give my life to Jesus and accept Him as my Savior, and everything changed, man. As soon as I did it, I got down on my knees and I said, okay, God, I hear you, and I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm going to take everything in my life that separates me from you, and I'm going to get rid of it, but I need your help. And when I made that decision, I mean, I was just a country boy from Louisburg, Kentucky, and when I made that decision and I told Him that I wanted what He had for me, everything changed. Less than 3 months later, I was on national television in front of millions of people, and then I never sang a day in my life. I never recorded an album. I never did anything like that, and He just said, go and produce this album. And so after I cut my first album, we put it out there, and it really started getting big. And so when I cut my second album, I said, this song, I have to write this song. I could hear it playing, and it's basically talking about, I know that this world's not my home, and when you can hear it in the lyrics, when I leave this world, as soon as my work is done here, I'm going to do my work to witness for Him and to spread the gospel for Jesus. But as soon as my work is done here, I'm heading home.
I get that. I really, really do. And absolutely love the song. I really, really am a big fan of that. Now, at the same time, Tyler, you're a returned vet and have seen a bit of action in your time. Your influences greatly come from your parents, is that right?
Yeah, I was born and raised here in Lewisburg, Kentucky, and I was brought up with a real strong work ethic. We worked here on the farm, and my parents kind of raised me up to be a hard worker and a God-fearing man. And I got to the point where I was wanting to do something different in my life, and I decided, well, I'm gonna check into this overseas stuff. I'm gonna check into the military stuff, and I ended up becoming a contractor for the Department of Defense, and I spent about 16 months in Iraq, about 60 miles north of Baghdad, and LSA Anaconda, and we provided logistical support for the special forces there at Anaconda, and we basically ran food and ammunition convoys on and off the base. And, I was a young guy, and I hadn't really learned a whole lot at that point. That was before, God knew I was there, but I didn't really know a whole lot about Him. I just knew I was raised up to believe in Him, but I never had that brush with the spirits yet, So when I got over there and I was living in an active combat zone, it made me grow up real quick. I got to see what evil looked like firsthand, and it made me appreciate life, and that's really where my journey began with praying, because every night we took between 15 and 30 mortar and rocket attacks a week, so I prayed a lot.
Yeah, believe me, I would be too, and there's no atheists in foxholes, is there?
No, you're going to find him, or you're going to ask him for help when the rockets start to fly.
Absolutely, and believe me, I've got to be honest with you, I've never experienced that at all. Not that I ever want to. I did come from a military family myself. My father was an explosives expert in the army, and grew up as a coal miner. He was an explosives expert there, so that was about as close to the big bangs as I ever wanted to get. Having said that, I have a lot of respect for you, sir, for doing that time and coming home safely. I'm very, very proud to be able to say that, because we wouldn't have the talent that we have today if anything else had happened to you. Now, I want to talk to you about Dad. Now, this is a very special song for you.
Yeah. Dad is a really unique song. I record with some really great people in Nashville. We record at Starstruck Entertainment, which is Blake Shelton and Reba McEntire's outfit. They're on Music Row, and the guys that I produce my music with are just some of the best guys you'll ever meet in your life. And I told them, I said, I've got this song that I write all my own songs, and I kind of go to these guys, and they help me to build the music around the lyrics and everything. And every song that I have out there on all three albums, I don't know if people know, I've got three albums. I've got Outlaw Soul is one album, and then I've got Road to Redemption is my second album, and then Who I Am is my latest album, which we just released last year. But all the songs on these albums are written about something that's happened in my life, things that I've been through. And I think that's what makes it authentic, and that's what makes it real country music. And a lot of people don't realize that there's so much stuff on the radio out there now that's not really country music, and but they call it country music. But that's what made country so popular, is because it was songs that people could relate to. And when I wrote this song for my dad, I really wanted it to encompass the reality of what it's like to grow up with a good dad. It's like the lyrics say: an early riser, an always on timer, a backbreaker, it's about having a strong man in your life that leads you in the way that you should go. And I think that we captivated that in this song, and it's a really beautiful song. And what's cool about it is if whether your dad's here with us or if he's already gone home, you can really relate to the lyrics of that song, especially if you got a close relationship with him.
I absolutely get that. I really do. Now, I got to let you know, Tyler, that how the process works here at Galaxy is that Barbara comes across about 30, maybe 40 bands a day sometimes, email her wanting to do interviews, wanting to do everything that we can do to be able to promote a band. Then it goes to production. Production and Barbara argue like crazy, and it whittles down to maybe about 10. Then that goes to a board. The board chooses down to 3 a week, sometimes 2 a week. So we only choose the best music that we can get hold of. Then it comes to me. I get the final say, and I listen to the music in the car. I sort of Bluetooth it through to my car, where I'm not influenced by anybody else. Now, we're out in the middle of 3 cities, in the middle of a forestry town, milling town. So, believe me, I go for a ride through the bush and listen to music and decide whether it's the quality that we're looking for at the end of the day for Galaxy.
Yeah.
So getting an interview with us is not an easy process. But having said that, it's on the merits of the artist and the merits of the music itself. We're interested in the music. We really, really are. And you are turning out consistently exceptionally good music. Now, I'm an engineer. I've worked in studios for many, many years and travelled around the world a couple of times with some notable bands, and I can't fault your music. I really can't. So I need to know, who produced Dad?
Who? What studio?
Yes.
That was Starlight Studios produced that. They actually now write with Warner Brothers in Nashville. So they've got a lot going on, but it's Starlight Studios is who it is. But we actually produced the song at Starstruck Entertainment in Nashville.
Very, very cool, my friend. So right now, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM. Here is Tyler Wood and Dad.
Always on timer, a backbreaker, giving not a taker, made sure nothing was missing. So we.
Gosh, it's hot up here, in here. I'm used to saying up here because we were on the first floor.
You know, you
last
say
night.
that every
Are you
time
okay
we
there,
do
my
a
friend?
Facebook Live.
What's that?
Are you okay there? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good.
You got a mason jar close?
What? I didn't hear you.
Have you got a mason jar close?
No, I haven't got a mason jar closed. I'm actually in the office of my distillery, but I've got a little bit of whiskey out here, but not a whole lot.
Show us your label, bring it on. Let's have a look at it, because believe me, we want to promote it. We really do. So I'm going to ask you next a little bit about the Moonshiners show.
Yeah.
And just wondering, did you get much guidance out of Tim Smith?
Yeah, me and Tim's been friends for a long time. He kind of went his own way with his brand, and I'm going mine with my way with mine. We talk about it every day. We've always been really close friends. When you get into the legal whiskey world, things get kind of competitive. So, he does his thing and I do mine, and we don't really let it interfere with our friendship.
Yeah, absolutely. I fully understand that. And am dying to get my hands on a bottle of Climax. I got to be honest with you.
Yeah.
But I'm going to hit you up for a bottle. How would you like to send me a bottle of your product over here that we can do a promotion with?
We're actually about to launch here. We've still got some stuff to finish up here in the distillery. We just finished building it, so we should be in production in the next few months.
Nice. Because believe me, we would be honoured to be able to receive a bottle of your goods. I've got to be honest with you. I will be the first person to break into that with gusto.
I'm not touching it after the last lot.
You're not touching it
Not
up.
after the last lot.
Please do, because believe me, we would be very honoured to have some. So we'll go back to the desk. What did I do with it? There it is. Da-da-da-da. Find the whole group.
That's what I say.
Yeah. That's what you
It's
say.
so funny you said that, da-da-da. Hi Mike, hi Stephen, hi Dan.
Questions asked, I could never say enough. Through the downs and the ups, you carried the weight so we'd have a good life. Raised us with love so we could fly. Didn't want else to call you Superman. And I am the man that I am because I call you Dad.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 19 after 11 o'clock, 17 degrees, not bad. Our high was only 14 degrees today, so 17 degrees pretty good actually. Kind of feel we can do better. I think maybe 19 degrees, 20 degrees easily today. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, June 26th, and you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, and believe me folks, absolutely elated to be joined by Tyler Woods. And folks, if you don't know the program Moonshiners, maybe this might refresh your memory. That's right, we're joined by a real-life outlaw that has turned a good guy. He really, really has. And Tyler Woods, you used to make moonshine out in the bush at night time, stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, making moonshine goes back in my family over 150 years. I'm the fifth generation, so all the way back 5 generations it goes back to a man named John Wesley Wood, who fought in the Civil War in the 52nd Infantry for Kentucky. And he's buried in Lafayette, Tennessee. And he was known for making a real special white whiskey or a moonshine. And it kind of got passed down from him to my great-grandfather, down to my grandfather, and then on to my dad. And times were changing. You know, they had to do it. My grandfather and my great-grandfather, they had to do it during the Depression. So, obviously when my dad came along, he was doing it in a different world than they were. But he kind of had some different stuff. He was more of a bootlegger, and he actually ran an AMVETS club. And he used to tell me stories about how they would go to Nashville and load a pickup truck to the top of some cattle racks with liquor and cover it with a tarp and drive the back roads home and stock the AMVETS club with it.
Well, you see, here in New Zealand, it's legal to make your own alcohol. We call it brewers and everything like that. We don't mind that here in New Zealand, and we are becoming forward-thinking, as I mentioned before, about the marijuana laws we're looking at changing in the near future. So we're at least looking forward. But we don't know what it's like, literally, to have to run from the law because you've got a bit of booze in your car, unless you're a little over the limit, and you know you are, and of course that's a whole different deal. But here in New Zealand, we've followed not only yourself, but other people like Tickle, Josh Owens, Tim Smith, Digger and the boys, the whole lot, right down through the series of Moonshine. And we're starting to discover exactly what it's like being an outlaw in the modern day era in America making what I think is a very prized product, just because the government's not making any money on it. Well, you know, that happens really sometimes. But at the same time, some of these recipes, and as you say, that have been handed down 150 years or so, now you've decided to open up your own legal distillery. Must have been a bit involved in that.
Yeah, it's a lot of red tape to go through. You know, from making illegal moonshine, and the biggest reason it's illegal, you know, because the government wants to tax it, so they don't want you making money that they don't get a piece of. And it's like that in most countries, and you know, if you're making a lot of money, they want to get a cut. And but you know, when you go from making it in the woods and then bring it to the legal distilleries, you got to jump through a lot of hoops. You got to get a DSP, which is a distilled spirits permit. You got to pay a lot of fees, and basically you need to have a lawyer. If you're gonna do any of that stuff, you're gonna have a lawyer to help you to get through all the red tape. But it's not an impossible process. It just takes a lot of time and a little bit of money. And the biggest thing is building a facility. I've actually built a 10,000 square foot distillery here right in my backyard. And we got 1,000-gallon copper pot still with two 300-gallon doublers and an actual 500-gallon condenser with a 2-inch 80-foot worm in it. So that's one of our slogans we say is we're making it the old way. We're making it the same way in the distillery as my family made it in the woods over 150 years ago.
Just on a bigger scale. Absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
That worm sounds absolutely menacing. It really, really does. But I have seen some photos of you and your distillery. I haven't seen the whole lot, but I have seen a few of you in there. And absolutely proud of you. Would love to be able to see you do a world-beating product. I really, really would. And I know you're going to come out with it at the same time. It also says here that you're a copper still fabricator.
Yeah.
You didn't learn that from Jim Tom, did you?
No, I learned that just growing up around the industry, you know, of the moonshine world. I got interested in it when I was a teenager, and I've always been a metal worker. And I really like to work with metal, and I got to fool with copper, and it kind of got in my blood because I made a little bit of whiskey and experimented with it, and it got to where the more I made it, the better I got at it, and I started building stills, and I really liked making them pretty, so I built over 150 copper stills by hand, and got to where every time I build one, somebody wanted to buy it, and so I sold a lot of copper stills.
Yeah, sell them as an ornament, right?
Yeah, well, they use them as an ornament, probably sitting on top of a burner making whiskey.
Yeah, absolutely. Believe me. But if you ever got asked, you know, how come that? Well, I'm just making ornaments. You know, it's not up to me what they use. That's a great idea. But at the same time, let's go back to the Moonshiners series now. And you were on series 3, 4, 5, and 6. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now, I got to ask you, and I really, really must ask this. You were a good friend of Chico's. Where is he now?
The last I heard, Chico was. I tried to call him about 2 weeks ago, and his girlfriend answered the phone, and she said that he was sitting in jail.
Oh no! Oh, dearie. But I absolutely love Chico and his wife. I've seen the series there where him and his girlfriend were trying to do something in a deer blind, for instance, and get stuff working. It must be. I can't say that making moonshine is an easy business because, believe me, I've been watching this and I know it's not. But you've kind of got to be ingenious sometimes to be able to find ways of working in with your environment, don't you think?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work when you're making whiskey, illegal or legal. And sometimes when you're making it in the woods, you don't have all the modern conveniences that you would in a distillery. So you got to think pretty quick, and you got to think on your toes.
Absolutely. Now, tell me, what do you find better? Do you find the copper still better, or what about the sub?
For me, I mean, it's hands down. The copper steel is always going to be better. The more copper you got in the steel, it pulls the sulfates out of the mash. It makes a smoother drink. It's more temperature conductive. You can control your heat better. It's just all around, and you can't make better whiskey than with the copper steel.
You know, I'm looking forward to you sending me some, actually, to be very honest with you. Because the guys that I had supplying me some when I was in Newport, they were using a sub, if you can understand. So we'd love to be able to find out what the difference is there. Now, at the same time, and please, the next time you see Chico, or even Tim Smith, or any of the other guys, pass on the love from us here in Galaxy. We are big fans of all of you. We really, really are. Now, at the same time, just wondering, are you still hanging out with Tickle as well?
Yeah, I saw Tickle a few weeks ago. I was up at Belmont Farms with Tim and Tickle, and we did a meet and greet up there. And Tickle had just got out of jail when he did that, so he was he seemed to be doing better. I just hope that he can stay better so he don't get back in the can.
Believe me, yeah, it was for, the last one I think was for shotguns, and then he got caught up with something else. I've seen him just come out of jail. I don't think he's allowed to work for Tim Smith though, is he?
Well, he could. He's allowed to. I just don't know how long it'll last if Tim hires him.
Exactly. And of course, Tim's son now is growing up in the industry. He's starting to become quite a major player as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's trying to get into the whiskey world too. So it's interesting to see. It'll be interesting to see what he comes up with.
Now,
because he's a young guy.
I got to ask you, have you ever met JB Raider?
Yeah, I've met JB Raider several times.
Now, he was Popcorn Sutton's right-hand man back in the day, wasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, absolutely. Now, I've heard that JB now has a legal label as well.
Yeah, he's. I think I saw something about it. He's making something, some apple flavored moonshine down in South Carolina.
You know, I'm going to knock on his door as well one day and say, send me a bottle, I really want one of those. So
yeah.
Let's get back to the important stuff, my friend, because believe me, thank you for tolerating me in the TV show The Moonshiners, but it's all about the music, my friend, and Little World. Now, I need you to tell me all about it.
Well, Little World is a song that I wrote. I've got a little girl. She just turned 4 years old, and you know, it's kind of like what I was telling you about my walk with God. Is she's the best gift that God's ever given me. My life completely changed when I had my little girl. So it's the best. I always tell people she's the best thing that ever happened to me, besides finding Jesus, and it's the truth because. You know, I always tell people that I think that, and this is kind of if you bear with me, I'll try to make this short as I can, but I always tell people, if you want to know what God's purpose for us is in this life, when you have a little kid, or you have a son or a daughter, and they're 2 or 3 years old, and they run up, and they hug your leg for no reason, and they look up at you and they say, I love you, Daddy, and you know that you've got that feeling in your heart that you would do anything for them. You love them so much that you would do anything for them. Well, that's how God feels about us. He wants us to know that feeling because that's how he feels about us. So when I wrote that song, I thought, you know, I really want to tell the truth about my story, about how my life changed in this song. So every day I noticed that as I went on, I was living in her little world. She wasn't living in my world. I was living in her little world. So that's what this song's about. And anybody that's a parent that hears this song can definitely relate to that.
You know, I get it. I really do. And you know something else? Very, very envious of you. Believe me, I haven't had a little girl for many, many years now. She grew up, moved off, got married, and comes back and raids my fridge every now and again. But believe me, I would give anything to go back to that era. So please make the most of it while you've got it, Tyler. You really, really need to. Here is.
Oh, it goes by fast.
Yeah, it does. Too fast. Way too fast. And believe me, I've experienced it. Would love to do it again, to be honest. Here is Tyler Woods, right here at Galaxy, Little World.
Hi Cheryl, sweetheart, how are you?
Cheryl. Hello, Cheryl. Welcome back.
here I
Thanks for
am.
joining us again, Cheryl. I'm just going to switch this over so that Tyler can hear what we're saying.
Yeah.
Now, Cheryl, the lipstick, I'm sorry, it doesn't go with my eyes. So I gave it back to Barbara. Is that okay? Thank you, mate. Thank you. Good for your understanding. Cheryl was from a band that we promoted a wee while ago. She follows everything we do. She sent us some lipsticks, Galaxy lipsticks. And
Yeah.
there was one for me, there was one for Barbara, and there was one for Terry,
They're for
our production
competition.
manager. But unfortunately, you
You're a
see,
competition.
I don't think it went with my eyes, so I gave it back to Barbara. Seriously, I did. I gave, you got it back, didn't you? You did, yeah. See?
I'm going to have a competition with that in a CD.
You're not. I'm sorry, Cheryl. I don't suit lipstick, but thank you for the thought.
She'll
Really
be
do.
laughing.
Mark, nice to have you with us.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Yeah,
Pleasure to be here.
yeah, absolutely brilliant.
Hello,
I've
folks.
Got my IT guy is with us, joining us. I don't think he's ever experienced this before, so he's watching us do it live for a change instead of hearing it on the radio.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it's nice to have you, my bro. It really is. Tyler, I'm going to talk to you next about contemplating the thought of maybe coming down to New Zealand, and we would love to be able to have you play here in New Zealand. Would you consider doing something like that?
Yeah, it just depends on time frame and what all's involved and everything. Yeah, we could definitely look at that.
Nice, because believe me, bro, I think our audiences here in New Zealand would just eat you up. I really do. They would
Yeah.
love you to bits. They really would, especially with quality music like this, my
You could do
bro.
a moonshine tour.
Yeah, I
We
appreciate it.
could do a
Moonshine
moonshine tour.
Bring Jody and Josh.
Jody and Josh, yeah.
And Tyler.
I don't know. Have you ever met Jody Medford?
I don't think I have.
Arguably the deepest voice in country music today, really.
He's a friend of Josh's, isn't
Yeah,
he?
he's a friend of Josh Owens.
Yeah.
So believe me, brilliant artist in their own right. Maybe we could get a few of yous together and we'll make a festival of it.
Yeah.
That's a great idea.
And
Anyway,
sell moonshine.
yeah, and sell moonshine. Well,
Yeah.
you could here, you can here.
Yeah.
You can,
Yeah.
it's legal.
Yeah. Make quite a bit of money. Of the beer, they've got moonshine. Oh gosh, imagine the concert. Oh no, thanks.
It would be a blinder.
Yeah.
Not around, from the stars I'll be looking down. Know that I'm still right here living in your little world. That smile can bring a grown man down every time. Got me tightly wrapped around those little curls and blue eyes. I knew I was in for it now. I know what I can't be without, and I found what this life is all about. And I'm feeling like I'm winning, loving every minute, living in your little world. Galaxy.
That's right. You're right here at Galaxy 107 FM, 23 away from 12 o'clock. It has 18 degrees. You know, 19's not that far away. 20's just a little hump further. I think we can do better than that. I really do. Wednesday, June 26th. Joined by an audience in the studio this morning. Nice to have Mark along. Mark, by the way, is our IT expert, so always nice to have him in the building. But worries me sometimes too. Maybe something's gone wrong. We don't want that. And joined live, and I'm really elated by this, by Tyler Woods. Now, Tyler, I mistakenly have been following you over a number of years, thinking that you were in another band, and I correct myself there. I do apologise. But I absolutely loved the music that you've been producing. Now, I listened to it personally, unbiasedly in the car, driving around to see whether it would fit our shows. I've made sure that we've added you to at least 3 shows, and I play you in the breakfast show as well, and give you as many promotions as I possibly can. And of course, we're talking about Still Riding Shotgun is going ballistic right now. But I've just been reading your personal interests. Of course, you're talking about God, family, and making moonshine. Also, country songs, building copper stills, music, again, dogs. Now, I've got to be honest with you. I have a couple of big dogs that we have here as security guards, and Mark can attest to that today. Believe me, he can. Make a black man white that scare the hell out of them sometimes. But they are my pets, and they are my next of kin, pretty much, if you know what I mean. So I'm a big animal fan. But you're into guns, you're into ATVs, fishing, boating, fitness, weight training. This sounds like New Zealand, doesn't it? He sounds like a Kiwi. He really does. So Mark, I'm just wondering, how would you like to contemplate the fact of coming down here, down under to the Antipodes, and possibly playing maybe 4 shows?
Yeah, we could definitely look at doing that. I always like to expand the horizon of who listens to the music, so that's definitely a possibility.
Well, we would be honoured to have you here in New Zealand, believe me. As I mentioned before, I think New Zealand would just eat you up. They would just absolutely love you. They really, really would. At the same time, we may even share you with Australia. You know, that's that other country over the ditch from us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't usually like a lot about Australia, but we do love their money.
Yeah, that's all right.
It's the best reason ever, really. But got to warn you though, Tyler, that, and this is something traditional that we do here in New Zealand.
Oh, here we go.
Sorry, Barbara's trying to put me off now.
Yeah.
Sorry, she does that from time to time. Now, something traditional that we do here in New Zealand, my bro, when we bring bands into the country, now Barbara being the manager of Aurora Entertainments, she does all the logistics, everything that you need, including getting visas. It's always better to get them from within the country than out of the country, if you know what I mean. And then she hands it over to us, who basically, we host you up and down the countryside. But we do a few crazy things. Are you up for something a little different?
It depends on how different it is.
Okay. Have you ever, by any chance, heard of a hoo-hoo grub?
What's it called?
A hoo-hoo grub. H-U-H-U grub.
I hadn't heard of that.
Okay. Yeah, you're familiar with a caterpillar, right?
Yeah.
Okay. This is a caterpillar on steroids. It really is. It's like a double-decker bus to a mini. It's big. It's white. It's got a black head. And when you put the live body in your mouth, bite off the head, don't eat the head. It's yucky. But when you crunch down on the body, it's like eating creamy peanut butter.
Yeah, I had never eaten a worm before.
Well, I tell you what, we do it here. In fact, the indigenous folks, the Maoris, do they still do it? Still eat hoo-hoo grubs, Maoris?
Ones that are living in the bush.
Yeah. Well, if you're up in the bush, you know, tending your plants.
Yes.
Yeah. Yes, they still do it. Still eat hoo-hoo grubs here in New Zealand. But we have a wild foods thing here. You can even get yourself a deep fried caterpillar on a stick and stuff like that. It's really, really crazy. But at the same time, once we get that ingested, maybe a mason jar at hand, you might need one of those. And then too many mason jars and you might end up eating too many hoo-hoo grubs. But they are quite nutritious. Having said that though, we will send you the instructional video so that you know I'm not pulling your leg, we do it. At the same time, I don't know, Barbara, we'll take them down to Queenstown, throw them off a bridge. What do you reckon?
No, we'll throw you off.
You're always wanting to throw me off. I want to throw people off a bridge.
Look, I have to look after the artist.
Yeah, I know you do. I don't. That's why I want to do it.
You're going first.
We'll take you down to Queenstown. Now, Queenstown is a very touristy attraction kind of area down in Queenstown. Shania Twain has a house down that way, by the way, and you never know who you might find. Even superstars go there, like Elton John not so long ago, and of course
Tom Cruise.
Tom Cruise was there just not so long ago as well. So you never know who you're going to run into, but we have a thing down there which is called bungee jumping, and we like to be able to, you know, just, if it doesn't scare the hell out of you, it's not really worth doing, is it?
Yeah, well, I think about bungee jumping like I think about jumping out of airplanes. If you got a good bridge to stand on, you might as well stay on it. If the airplane's still running, you need to stay on it too.
So that's a no.
Well, that might be a no, including parachuting.
We can chuck you off though.
Excuse me, Tyler. Barbara's all for throwing me off a bridge any day. Really. But having said that too, I'm quite an accomplished skydiver.
What's that?
Having said that, I'm quite an accomplished skydiver. So if you ever want to go parachuting, let's do that.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm okay with riding on a plane, but I never have jumped off of one yet.
Well, I tell you what, you don't know you're alive until you see that plane leaving.
Yeah, I bet.
Believe me, the first step is the most difficult one, but after that, it's all a breeze. It's downhill from there.
You ain't gonna worry about much, just get in the bottom.
Yeah, exactly. It's only the stop that hurts. Now, at the same time, have you ever heard of a Zorb?
A Zorb? Yeah.
Right. Well, about, almost an hour away from where we are. You see, we're right smack in the middle of three major cities, which is Rotorua, Whakatane and Tauranga. And in Rotorua, it's a married tourist kind of city where you go in, you know, people from around the world come and experience some of the Maori lifestyle from back in the day, which is Hell's Gate and places like that. Brilliant place. But we also have these big rubber balls that we put people in and just push them down a hill. You know, always fun to watch them going down a hill.
And I'm going to put you
It's
in.
probably more fun to watch them than it is for them to be in the ball.
Depending on how many moonshines you've had, my bro.
You probably get rid of it all when you get to the bottom of the hill.
Well, I tell you what, when you get to the bottom of the bottle, well, you're the first person wanting to get in it. Literally, I can testify for that. I was sucked into that one myself. Here, have a few drinks. Before you know it, I'm all brave. Yeah.
That's why they call it liquid courage.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, I found some in one of those balls, and I tell you what, something came out of me that day too that they had to get a hose to. Believe me, it was a lot of fun. But at the same time, have you ever heard of Lord of the Rings?
No, I don't think they have.
Let me recommend the movies. It's easier than reading the books because the books are...
I mean, did you say Lord of the Rings?
Yes.
Yeah, I've heard of that. I thought you said something different. Yeah, Lord of the Rings, I've seen some of those movies.
Okay, well, about an hour and a half away. About an hour and a half is Hobbiton, where they filmed the very first part of it with the little hobbits and that in there. We could take you and show you the set of that, and believe me, it's absolutely brilliant. It is.
Hobbit for a day.
At the same time, I presume you'd be bringing your good wife and daughter with you, so we could always do maybe a dinner on the Auckland Harbour, which is our biggest city, out in the Hauraki Gulf. At night time, nothing better than having a backdrop at night time of Auckland Harbour while you're having a few bevies and a good meal. So we would certainly treat you like a king here in New Zealand if you came along and did a few shows for us, and we would love to be able to follow up on that.
Yeah, it sounds like a good time.
At the same time, would you be bringing a band with you?
Yeah, I've got a band in Nashville that would have to tag along.
Absolute must. We need to bring a band with you because, believe me, it's selfish just to enjoy all of that by yourself, my bro. Really.
Yeah, you got to share the love.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, your bros are always wanting to come to different places, especially somewhere exotic as Kawerau, right? Yeah, exactly, absolutely. Now, at the same time, my friend, I want to talk to you about Still Riding Shotgun because, believe me, since we started playing this, we've got 4,093 requests for the song, which is quite a few, to be very honest with you. Tell me all about it, because I absolutely love this track.
When I wrote that song, it's got a funny story behind it. I was filming on Moonshiners, and when I came up with the name for the song, I didn't know what I was going to write the song about. I just knew that the name sounded catchy. So we were filming in the cave on season 4, I believe, and it's the cave the big cave where we hung the water bucket up to get the cooling water to cool the steel, to cool the condenser. And I had an old a '98 Chevrolet pickup truck that I had bought from my girlfriend, who's now my wife. I bought a kind of a farm truck, and I had a 50-gallon copper steel that I had built, and I didn't want to put it in the back of the truck, so because I didn't want it to get beat up. It's a pretty nice steel. So I had to carry it back here to this cave, and it was rough getting back there. It took a lot to get back there. So I put this steel, I laid the front seat all the way back, and this 50-gallon pot barely fit in the front of this truck. It took up half the cab of the truck. So I got it in there, shut the door, and I pulled up to where the film crew was at. I'm driving down the road with a 50-gallon copper pot steel in my truck seat. And I pulled up where the film crew was at. And at the time, I was working on this first album. I was working on my album, Outlaw Soul. I was getting ready to finish all the songs. I was writing songs for it. And I pulled up and I told the guy with the camera, one of the cameramen, Jed, I said, "Hey, man," I said, "this is crazy." I said, "You see this steel right here?" I said, "I've got a steel riding shotgun, so I'm going to write a song about that one day." So I told him I'm going to write a song called Still Riding Shotguns, because I actually had a still riding shotgun.
I get it now. I really do. Wonderful, wonderful story. Was that the same cave where Chico busted his window and got stuck in his four-wheel drive with you and Tickle at the same time? Same cave.
Yeah, he tore his truck all to pieces down there in that cave, and that was we put a lot of work in down there when we filmed that season and that episode. Well, those episodes in that season. It's funny that all that stuff happened and it turned into such a great song. We got well over 20 million views on that video on YouTube for Still Riding Shotgun. And the concept for the song, the name came that way, but when I started thinking about it, I knew I needed a kind of a love song for my album, and I wanted to write a song that said something for how a man has a good woman behind him, and even though we're not always perfect, she still hangs in there and she's still got our back, so she's still riding shotgun. She'll always be the one right there beside you.
You are so right. So right here at Galaxy, here is the man himself, Tyler Wood, Still Riding Shotgun.
Turn it up for a little bit. Can we just hear it just for a little bit?
Yes.
She gets mad when I don't pay the bills on time.
Are you okay there, my friend?
Yeah, good.
Nice. Let's turn this down a little bit.
That's all right.
Mark, come and say hello. Just to let you know, we're not joking. There are people in the studio with us.
I did film them.
This is Mark.
Hey man, how you doing?
Awesome.
And
Nice to meet you, Tyler.
we'll convert this Facebook Live to YouTube and send it to you so that you've got a copy of it.
Yeah.
You turn it down now, Brian.
At the same time, we'll take a couple of crazy photos and send you those so you can use them as wallpapers on your phone.
You
and
might
stuff
be
like
crazy, I'm not.
well, no, it's
Do you want
Beauty
a
and the
crazy
Beast,
one?
doesn't it? It
Yeah.
really is, To be determined which is which.
Oh, hang on.
I reserve my decision.
Yeah, I reckon I'm the Beast. Well, I will be after this. Anyway, at the same time, we'll do a very, very quick little video. Now, we put that on our website, on our homepage. everybody
Yeah.
tunes in, they live stream us, but they get nosy and start looking around. I feel very oogled sometimes, I've got to be honest with you. But they go and have a look at these little intros that we do, and before you know it, you're the person getting oogled, I'm just the conveyance of it. So it's all about promoting you, my bro, it really is. Having said that,
I appreciate it.
When your album is completed, when your next album is completed, how would you like to send us a few copies so that we could do a promotion for you, give them away?
Or releases songs.
Yeah.
No.
I can send you guys some of my current albums. There's a lot of songs on there that you guys probably haven't heard yet that are really good. There's some really good songs on my newest album, but they're all. I mean, I get a lot of messages, literally thousands of messages from people saying that they like all the music. Like they can't find a song that they don't like.
Well, I'm guilty of that too. Ever since I've heard your music, bro, I've been actually quite a big fan of yours. So I can hear what you're saying there. But please, keep in contact with Barbara. Send us something. We would love to do a promo. But first of all, let's go back to the desk.
Chop, chop.
No, please.
You're running out of time.
I am running out of time.
Sounds like your dogs are outside.
Dogs are outside. I wonder what business they're
Right next to me, how it's supposed to be. Yeah, she's still riding shotgun. Galaxy FM.
That's right, you're right here at Galaxy 107 FM and talking to Tyler Wood, still riding shotgun, the number one Tyler Wood song requested here at Galaxy. Absolutely love that song. Tyler, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you this morning. Now, just wondering, any new work coming out in the near future?
Yeah, we're getting ready to shoot some new music videos. We got some new songs on my newest album, Who I Am. That's the name of the album. We're getting ready to shoot a couple music videos. I'm going to be working on hopefully a new album in the fall after we get this distillery launched. If anybody's got any questions about where to find the music or anything, all of my music and albums are available on iTunes, Amazon, Google Play, Spotify, Apple Music. You can watch the music videos on YouTube. All you got to do is search for Tyler Wood or Google Tyler Wood. It's the first thing that'll pop up. You can actually go to tylerwoodmusic.com and get the actual autographed copies of the albums. But the music's available everywhere you can download music. We're planning on hopefully one of these songs that I have on my Outlaw Soul album is called Long Road, and it's kind of my family history story about the moonshine and the distillery and everything. So we're going to shoot a video for that song that's going to lead up to the brand release and everything. So we're really excited about that. But it's called, you guys would probably like it. It's Long Road. It's a really good song, and it was on my first album, Outlaw Soul.
You know, I will absolutely get the crew into finding that for me, because believe me, I'm very excited actually. But we would love to have you come back again. Talk to us more about your music and, of course, everything you're doing with your distillery and everything like that. Having said that, though, my friend, I would be very, very honoured if you would send us maybe a few CDs that we could do a promotional giveaway to our fans and listeners that are listening, and be able to maybe even, if you've got a spare T-shirt or something. Today I'm dressed by Tommy Steele, I think it is, and of course that's a subliminal thing. When I'm doing interviews, people notice what I'm wearing, and then before you know it, on the keyboards finding out who Tommy Steele is. Look in Nashville too, by the way. Big hint, because believe me, wonderful guy. But we would love to be able to continue promoting you. Having said that, now that we've done an interview with you, you're part of the Galaxy family, and we would love it if you would continue coming back, having a chat to us about what you're doing in the music industry, and just shooting the breeze, literally telling us what's going on in your life. We want to be in contact with you because we absolutely are huge fans. And please don't hesitate to put a bottle or two of that wonderful juice that you're making there, because believe me, I'm very, very fascinated with white whiskey. I really, really am. And would look forward to it. For us, it's just a matter of paying the duty at the customs, and no worries, it gets right on through. We do receive it.
Yeah, we can definitely make that happen, and you know, I appreciate you guys playing the music and being a part of what I've got going on, and you know, I want to say a special thanks to you guys and a thanks to everybody in New Zealand that enjoys the music, that requests to hear it, and you know, you guys keep on keeping on. You're the reason why I'm doing what I'm doing, and I appreciate everybody there, and God bless y'all.
Well, I got to be honest with you, Tyler. If it wasn't for supreme artists like yourself, I wouldn't have a job. I really, really wouldn't. So, right back at you, brother. God love you. Absolutely. Thank you for joining us today. But please don't go anywhere just yet. We've got a couple of more things we're going to do. But we've got to wrap it up right now. 1 minute away from 12 o'clock. We did well. We did. We got in there in time. It is 18 degrees downtown. And Wednesday, June the 26th. You're right here at Galaxy. Here's Mark Armand and Gene Pitney.